just Paul Brown Stadium. Just like you said, I'm a hard 5-1-3 Bengal fan, but you about to trample all over me, sacks and all that. Nah, sprinkle me in the ocean.
All right. Big, had some deep sea fishing. Catch a big marlin. Toss you out there, something like
bury
that.
me a butt. I'm serious.
All right, well, there we go. We got two non-sports venue answers, so.
Quarterback is literally the most important position.
I understand
But
that.
he's not sold on Russ, and that. So why aren't you sold on Russ? Tell me that. Last 2 years,
Is it because of
Man.
Pete Carroll?
I mean, it
He's
hasn't
been-
been.
He got us
slumping.
thinking DK really that dude.
Russ has not looked like
I
himself.
think he
for the last 3
relied
seasons.
more on that Legion of Boom defense, and then he's going to do the same
early
thing here
on,
in
of
Denver.
course.
What has he done with what Tyler Lockett? Like, I mean, what has he really done
People
to
know who Tyler
solidify
Lockett is
himself?
because of us.
I'm not sold on, man. I mean, y'all want to go high
I
on
mean, he
Russ?
made the playoffs his first 8 years in a row. He won, 10 games a season every year for the first 6, 7 seasons or something, like things that
He's a
nobody's
winner,
ever
man.
done. Welcome to another episode of That's Debatable. My name is Ryan Dietrich, here with my guys, Jeremiah Bays and Will Ward.
Yes, sir.
And behind the desk, as always, our trusty producer, Adam Dell.
Behind the ones and twos.
I know, he's excited. Tonight we got coming up the NFC North preview. He's rocking the purple. You know what it is if you're familiar with this show, even remotely. It's about to be the Justin Jefferson and Kirk Cousins awards ceremony.
Oh, man.
Tonight. But to kick things...
They're going to be getting all season, maybe. But continue.
But to kick things off here from Columbus, Ohio, it's been a good Wednesday. Feels like fall. Buckeye football is just around the corner. The Nebraska Cornhuskers are getting going this weekend in what we're calling Week 0. They're headed to Dublin, Ireland to take on Northwestern. But more importantly, high school football started here in the great state of Ohio last Friday. Will Ward and I able to call Big Walnut and Bishop Hartley up in Sunbury. Not the most competitive football game, but I'll still call it a good football game. We had a great time running the broadcast. And if you're familiar with Yamo Media, maybe you were just tuned in to the Ohio Football Weekly premiere episode with Marty Bannister here on the Yamo Media Network.
Marty.
I tuned into that. Some excellent information from those guys. Marty knows it all, and a couple featured guests, which I like, and hopefully we'll be incorporating that into our show here in the future. But let's kick it off with some high school football. Just started, like I said, last Friday. Got a bunch of games on the slate coming up this weekend. Whichever one of you wants to take it away, hit me with what we got going and some good highlights here. A little recap of Big Walnut in red and Bishop Hartley in the white and navy pants.
Yeah, soon you're going to see that number 7 the phenom himself, as I'm going to dub him for this season. I said it earlier, not to shout out my guy Jared's Minnesota Viking, but Nate Seaver, man. Nate Seaver reminds me of a young Adrian Peterson in his heyday.
Oh, yeah?
The guy is electric. He had power, he had speed, and he had 21 carries for 150 yards, 4 touchdowns. I don't know if you're going to see a clip of him here. This is probably about the second half. Still see the Hartley kids they're in the game. They came out, had fun that night, but the big Walnut crowd, they had a lot more fun.
There you go. There was a short 3-yarder.
Touchdown there by him.
And he set up that touchdown with a big 38-yard
in the
run
game
down the left side. So, yeah, it took Hartley a while to get on the board. Yeah, you just saw it 28-0 there. Dude, Hartley moved the ball well. They just, kept shooting themselves in the foot. Turnovers is the name of the game. That's the nature of the beast, as we know.
They had 3 turnovers in the first half. They had 2 interceptions and a fumble in the first half, and each one of those turnovers cost them 21 points.
Yep.
There you see the guy, Deontay Hubbard, who had the lone touchdown for Bishop Hartley. Their receivers there. You will see Bishop Hartley. They'll come back this weekend. This week they'll be playing Harvest Prep at Harvest Prep. Bishop Hartley has one of the hardest schedules in Central Ohio, probably the nation. I'll say that undoubtedly. Bishop Hartley has one of the hardest schedules in the nation, and that's solely because they play 8 of their 10 games on the road. I'm not for sure who made their schedule, but they only play their last 2 games at home. So, like I said, those guys will be back on the field. I'm sure Coach Burfield has those guys ready. And be sure to tune in to Yamo Media coming Friday. Me and my guy, Deshaun Pate, we'll be calling that game at, once again, say it, Ryan, for me.
What, Yamo Media?
Yamo Media and Harvest Prep. And
and it'll be on the Bishop Hartley Hawks Radio Network as well. So
Harvest Prep versus Bishop Hartley on the Hartley's radio station network.
Yep, you can find that live on YamoMedia.com as well, or Bishop Hartley Hawks Radio Network. Unfortunately, I'll miss that one, but Deshaun's going to step in nicely for me and keep the train rolling. Jer, you got any updates on high school football here around Central Ohio?
Yeah, shout out to Harley and everybody in that, that conference division that they able to still play, because them boys in the city right now, they did have games last week, week 1. I will touch into that, but this week coming up, there won't be no games in the city league. In case you didn't know, the teachers are on strike right now. They want things better in the schools and for the kids and everything. So it's just a lot. The strike affects a lot of things within the city, and city athletics is one of them. So there won't be no games this weekend. They will be postponed or canceled. Praying that the higher ups is definitely listening to these people's messages, and they can move on this fast so the kids can get into the schools. First day of school, my baby girl just started school today, and she can't even start school.
Yeah, right.
This ain't a COVID situation. We don't need computers right now. Just take care of the city kids like you're supposed to. But yeah, it definitely affects football. But last week, man, let me get into it. Last Thursday, South beat Woodward 32-22. Linden McKinley just beat the brakes off of West, but again, that's a baseball school, so we're not surprised with that. 45-0 over there. That's last Thursday. Last Friday, the 19th, Westland beat Briggs, also a baseball school, 41-6. Marion Franklin, I guess my era of the Marion Franklin domination is over, and I've been out of high school for a long time now. So it looks like it's a new dawn in Marion Franklin right now, because they lost to Central Crossing 22-40. It's not looking good over there. Even Small Note Ridge lost bad to Hilliard Davidson, but Hilliard Davidson definitely put in work over there, way out there. They lost 12-37, and of course, the Eastmore Academy won 20-14 over Chaminade Julian. My mans gave me an update that Julian scored first. They went up 7-0. Eastmore went on a 20-0 run. Then they got another little cheap end zone, make a touchdown at the end of the game, make it look kind of respectable. But
garbage time.
Eastmore really dominated from after they scored their touchdown to the finish, and they pulled out strong. And then we had last Saturday, which I didn't even get in them games because I forgot to look on Saturday's games because I didn't even think about Saturday games.
Right.
But we had East beating Afrocentric, and Afrocentric had a good season last year. They beat East beat Afrocentric 48-18, and I High beat Thurgood Marshall 46-0, and of course, like you already got into the Hartley losing 35-7. But yeah, that's the City League, and then, like I said, it won't be no games this week. Just to touch on the strike, about 60% of our head coaches in the city, are teachers, so a lot of them are also on strike. And so, like I said, these games will be postponed for this entire weekend. We hoping to figure out what could go on moving forward. But as of now, there won't be no games in the city this week. Everything's been rescheduled. Mary Franklin was scheduled to play Delaware Hayes, but they're not gonna play them on the 26th this week. And the Pacers were supposed to play St. Charles. Those aren't City League schools, but because, those games are in there. So, well, we'll see, man. I'll stand with the teachers, man. Hopefully they take care of our babies so they can get them back into schools.
You got that right. There you go. Nice tweet from Zach Fleer. Yeah, it's a shame that we're not, that the student athletes can't keep playing. Yeah. It's sad that we put, all that pressure gets put on our teachers that, I'm with you there. Support our teachers, give them what they need.
We talking national news here too. The Columbus Public was just on the national news as Ohio being on strike. So it's nothing light. These are kids and they're the future, and education has got to be prominent in all of our minds. And I know we're a sports show, but we got to figure out how to get these kids back in school and get them in there fast, because not only are they not in school, but some of these kids are not eating at home all the time. A lot of parents, sometimes they may rely on the school to get them lunch. I know we're coming off of the summer, and these kids, they need to be back in. Some kids don't do well with the online stuff, so want to get those kids back in, keep those kids in your prayers, and we'll keep moving forward.
All right, updated. There you
Sucks,
have it.
Man. That sucks,
It does. We're tough spot, but that's the nature of, I guess, the business and how things are run here in this country. So get out and vote, voice your opinion. Let's get teachers back in schools and get our students back to school. And that way we can get some athletes back on the field. And it's not just athletes as well, it's band members, it's art program, it's all those extracurricular activities, chess club, you name it.
Everything.
All those vital after school activities for the youth of the city are very important. So, sticking with the city, we're going to move on to our Ohio State Buckeyes. 10 days until Notre Dame comes in, and we'll get it on number 2 versus number 5. Let's see. I've been listening to the radio a lot around here. Buckeye hype is real. Buckeye hype is loud. The offense is good. The offense is coming off, record-setting Rose Bowl performances from Jackson Smith and Jigba. The defense is lit up and loud. I keep hearing nothing but interviews from the defensive players and coaches. Things are clicking. They're feeling good. So, we're at the center of the source, so obviously people are going to be loud and proud about the Buckeyes. I saw a couple interesting stats. Let's see.
Well, it looked like everybody on Facebook.
Since 2018, the Buckeyes are 44-5. That's the second best win percentage in college football, right behind Alabama. What I'm looking at, as sports betting becomes legal here in January, a couple months away, I keep thinking about Heisman futures, national championship futures, and I'll mention win totals. So the Ohio State Buckeyes, their over-under for the win total this year is 11 games. And the money line on that is minus 140, which means you bet $14, you win 10 if Ohio State wins 12 games. You think Ohio State's going to win 12 games?
I say put your money right there. You're going to make some money, because I can say for sure Ohio State will win 12 games.
Is Ohio State even going to lose one game? Let's talk that. Because that's the real expectations around here, right?
For sure.
Nah, we can't lose a game this year, because a loss is definitely going to take us out where we actually aiming for. But nah, I don't see us losing the game this year. If it's anybody, it'll be week 1. Definitely nowhere in the Big Ten. Definitely not later on down in November. Nothing crazy like last year.
Yeah, I'm excited. And the other thing I noticed, looking through my betting futures, C.J. Stroud is the Heisman frontrunner.
Big Stroud.
He's the Heisman favorite. His money line action right now is plus 200. So you bet $10, you win 20. The next is going to be Bryce Young down in Alabama. He's the second favorite. His odds are like, I don't know, plus 350. Third is the guy I can't remember, and fourth was Travion Henderson. So that's the kind of expectations we're talking here at Ohio State. Is shit, we've got starting quarterback and starting running back as the top 4 in Heisman voting, as Heisman frontrunners for the season.
And that's just to start off the season. I mean, Travion is in the running back position, and CJ is the quarterback. And how Jared always like to say, Justin Jefferson wouldn't be that guy if he didn't have a quarterback to throw it to him. So he tries to say that, Kirk Cousins is an elite quarterback. But saying that is going to draw back around. Those guys, Smith and Jigba, Marvin Harrison Jr., and Fleming, all those are going to start being in the Heisman Trophy watch as well, because we know CJ is going to be lighting it up. So it's going to be a lot of balls being thrown in the air and ran on the ground, and it's going to be a lot of dubs that's coming this way in Central Ohio at the Ohio State this year. So
let's talk that Notre Dame game specifically. Notre Dame's got a new head coach. His first season coming in. They still got a lot of talent. In Notre Dame, obviously, they finished, I think, in the top 10, if I'm not mistaken. I'm going to pull up the week 1 line while we're on the air. What are you guys looking for that first Saturday?
I'm looking for that defense to just step up and not allow too much on that run game. You got Jack Sawyer coming off of that end. I want to see him really be able to become a force. You got guys like the Bosa brothers, you got Chase Young, and now it's time for him to put his name into the books of one of the best defensive ends. Let those linebackers step in and really lay the wood, and let DBU, I know we receiver you right now, but let those DBs really stand up and show that his defense is going to be one to be a force in the national rim. So yeah, we know what they're going to do in the Big Ten, but we need to get that national recognition too. So it starts big game with the first game. National game, night game. No better time to do it than that game.
There you go.
And I'm expecting big old CJ to come out there and just light them up, man. CJ about my man CJ ordering from San Andreas. He about to be a number 9 large. I need all of that with the extra sauce, and he about to go out there and light it up, like I said, with Smith and Jigba and my man Marvin Harrison Jr. I think it's about to have another trio of 1,000-yard receivers this season. Big expectations. It come down to
those are big. A trio of 1,000-yard receivers.
Yeah, I could see that. I could definitely see that.
Here, quick. Ohio State, week 1, 7:30 p.m. Eastern, Saturday the 3rd. They're a 15.5-point favorite over Notre Dame.
Sounds about right.
Yep. Just 2 touchdowns. It sounds big, but it's
they cover?
Yeah,
they cover if not.
Ohio wins by Buckeyes win by 16.
They're gonna do more than cover. I think we're
Okay.
trying to send a message. We don't like how we ended last season. I know we won our bowl game and all, but that's not what we was competing for. And this year, is you said our record since 2018 is 44-5.
Yep.
A lot of those 5 losses are key losses that stopped us from getting to the promised land we was trying to get to. We right behind Alabama, but Alabama got some championships since then, and we don't.
Yep.
We ain't won since 2014 or 15. So that's what it really gonna come down to us later on down the line. I'm not even. We gonna not to look past week 1 at all, but it's the Fighting Irish, man. They lost their bowl game too. I don't think they ain't about to do nothing special.
So they coming in trying to fight too. Marcus Freeman's coming in and he's trying to prove a point that he's out of that Ohio State tree, but he has his own thing now, and he's bringing those boys in ready to fight. But you're bringing a knife to a gunfight right now, Mr. Freeman. No bad ill wills towards you. Hope you have a good season. Just not week 1, sir.
Nah, definitely not week 1, man. They'd be happy to get a nice bowl game again. We fighting for something different. So I guess we're gonna have to fight the Irish.
My man Ryan is always going to bring up the betting odds.
Oh, yeah.
I'm going to look into the camera and say it right now. Anybody that's thinking about that last game of the season and thinking that team up north is going to win might want to reconsider anything that you got on your mind right now because it ain't happening this season, man. I've
Them
been
boys
hearing a
still
lot
talking.
of stuff. Been hearing a lot of stuff all off season about that team up north winning that one game. You won 1 in 10 years. 2 in 10 years, let me stand corrected. Let me not get your wins and losses
They ducked one.
misconstrued.
They ducked
So, yeah, duck one.
They got COVID.
So, hey, it ain't happening this season. Just believe that.
Every streak starts with one, though. You know that, right?
Every streak starts with one, and their streak is about to be done. It won't matter until they beat us in the horseshoe anyway. I mean, they held it down in the big house. But we'll see how it go. But that's November. We'll see you in November.
Aiden Hutchinson made a big impact in that game. We're going to touch on him a little bit when we get into our NFC North preview.
Nice
it is draft status. The last thing I was going to add was on our defensive side of the ball, the opposite side of Jack Sawyer. You got JTT. I can't even pronounce it.
We're going to learn his name real soon. I'm not going to put no pronunciations.
Tula Malau. AD behind the desk, my man. The opposite Jack Sawyer. You will know his name.
For sure.
By the end of the season, another national bad boy on the defensive end. We're just calling him JTT. It's always good when you got, pass rush, when you got strong guys on both sides. I mean, it makes it hard to just double team.
We need that Bosa and Young edge rush.
I mean, when you got strong pass rushers, it only helps out that secondary. So when you can get pressure on the quarterback, you should see a lot of ducks flying and a lot of pick balls. So, hey, we're looking forward to them Buckeyes, and we know they're going to prevail.
All right, that will take us. We're going to step aside. We'll take a quick commercial break here on That's Debatable. We're going to get our notes together, but coming up next, we're going to hit you with the NFC North preview. My guy's decked out in purple. The dude behind the desk even brought his Packers flag. I got a few guys out there hopefully tuned in for the real news and the real action. This is, our territory, our neighborhood. A lot of Packer fans around here. So, with the NFC North preview when we come back, we're going to wrap things up with the WNBA playoffs. They're hot and rolling. There's another game just about to start. Connecticut Sun and the Dallas Wings get rolling to wrap up this for the final spot in the semifinals of the WNBA playoffs. So sit tight. We'll be right back in just a moment here on That's Debatable.
You mentioned officiating, and that's a topic I wanted to delve into with you right now. Those numbers are dropping now as far as people who are taking the test and doing all the things they need to do to become an official. And the reasons are varied, and I don't really want to delve into a whole lot of that aspect of it. But what are you doing? How are you encouraging folks, Bo, at the OHSAA who may be thinking about getting into officiating? And we'll use football as the prime example in this right now. But what are you doing to try and encourage that? Maybe not enrollment, but folks to get involved in becoming officials?
Yeah, there's several different prongs we're using. We've got some schools that are really stepping up and doing some teaching of officiating within the schools, within their curricula. And that certainly helps us get some younger people exposed to it. But we're really pushing very hard to get those adults, especially the adults that are finished watching their kids play, they're still vested in the sport, and try to get them involved also. But our best recruiting, bottom line, is one-on-one people recruiting. And I talk to our officials and our local associations and clinics all the time and say, people that are vested in the sport, get involved.
That's something that I think you've seen it certainly over the last couple of seasons where the fact I think there were a number of baseball games back in the spring where umpires didn't show up and they went ahead and played the game anyway because of that. The umpires didn't show, but they still wanted to get the kids on the field and play the game. Fortunately, that hasn't happened in a football game yet. But I guess, is that a concern of yours right now, Bo, that those numbers are dwindling? They're not out of control yet, but they are dropping. Is that a concern for you?
Well, it's certainly a concern more in some sports than others. You mentioned baseball, softball. The issue with baseball, softball is there's a high rain out, and you may be scheduled well going into the season, but once the season starts, you get rainouts. Everybody's playing every day. And that's really makes it. It's always been tough in baseball, softball. Now with fewer umpires, it's even tougher. Football's better because of the length of time between games, and you know who you have scheduled, and you know if you're looking like you may need a replacement, you have time to look and you have time to do it. In other sports that play every 2 days, that's where it's really difficult if you have someone that may not be there that night. But like I said, some sports are in a lot better shape than others. Basketball, football is certainly in better shape than baseball, softball, and soccer.
Welcome back to That's Debatable on Yamo Media. Ryan Dietrich, Jeremiah Bays, Will Ward. The trio coming at you again. It's NFC North preview time. That's the Bears schedule. We got our paperwork out.
Bears.
We're ready to roll. We've got Mr. NFC North right here and the Vikings. So real quick.
I am the North.
Last year, 2021, the NFC North was won by the Green Bay Packers. They went 13-4, earned themselves the #1 seed in the NFC, got themselves a first-round bye, and that was their only win in the playoffs.
Playoffs.
The NFC North last year, Minnesota finished second with a record of 8-9. I think they had 7 or 8 games lost by 1 possession. 2 of those games were lost by 2 points. Most of them were right around that 4, 5, 6 range. Chicago Bears finished third at 6-11. They have vacated Matt Nagy out of there, and their new head coach, Matt Eberflus, steps in. And finishing last in the NFC North last year was the Detroit Lions at 3-13. Featured on Hard Knocks on HBO this year. Got a whole bunch of new talent and a lot of promise coming out of Detroit. We'll see if Matt Campbell can get his squad together. They drafted heavy on the defensive side. And like I mentioned earlier, Aiden Hutchinson, big Michigan grad, drafted #2 overall, staying at home in Detroit. We're going to talk about him in a little bit once we get to the Lions. So, I think that's consensus around here. We're going to start off with our predictions, and we're going to go through our schedules. We're going to open up with the Chicago Bears. I have got them finishing last in the division this year. I predicted that the Chicago Bears will go 5-12 at best. Things are a little rough there, and it looks like Jeremiah Bays, you got them doing the same. Is that right?
Yeah, barely winning 5 games.
That's why I said at best. Oh, barely. Now I get it.
No pun intended.
Excellent. How about you, Will?
Barely.
I got them boys going 8-9. I see a couple of wins that may sneak underneath for the radar.
Like where? Show me.
All right, let's
facts.
talk about. I will throw in. You know I like to mention betting. That first, and there's their schedule. The Bears hired a bunch of 10-year-olds for their PR department to do their schedule. And so that's what the Chicago Bears put out on their official website. So you can go to NFL.com/team schedule and download that 10-year-old doodle for the Bears. Week 1 against the 49ers, my San Francisco 49ers are a 7-point favorite. I've already got $20 on them to cover. Let's get it in, boys. So 5-12, 5-12, Will Ward. Tell us where those Bears pick up a couple extra games.
So I've got them opening up, even though Vegas has them losing that game. I got them coming in winning the game.
You got them beating San Francisco?
Got them You got to come to
Get
Chicago.
out of here, man.
Got to come to Chicago.
He's
Got to
nuts.
come to Chicago.
He's
man.
nuts.
That's where the
It ain't the
is.
winter.
It ain't the winter.
It's still hot.
But it's coming off of the
It's still hot.
season. All right, mark it down, man. Remember that smile right there. Week 1, Chicago.
Come on, man.
Kanye West in the building. Michael Jordan in the building, probably.
Trey Lance in the building.
Even if they had little dirt catching balls for him, it wouldn't be enough.
Okay.
I'm gonna just go down the wins. There's only 8 of them, so I got to win it. The first game against San Francisco.
All right, let's just go game by game.
You got them coming in last
We'll
place?
keep it up.
It's a tie for last.
Okay,
Okay.
because I was just wondering, like, how many would you got the Lions? All right, but go
Tie
ahead.
for last.
Let me hear you.
Game by game, San Francisco, win. Green Bay, loss. Houston, win. New York, Giants, win. Minnesota, loss. Washington, I got them winning. It's something about,
Okay.
I don't know. It's about Washington yet.
I'm winning
not
that
sold
game,
on.
too.
New England, loss. I got them winning back-to-back games against Dallas. I think they're going to come in sneaky a little bit against Dallas. Dallas has that fluke of some bad luck every once in a while. So I think they fall asleep against them. And they'll lose against Dallas. Go to Miami. Or Miami had to come up to Chicago. And about being November, it start getting cold. They'll win that game. Detroit, I got them losing there.
Yep.
Atlanta, they squeaked by that with a win.
No.
That
Wrong.
Atlanta team is on that downfall also. I can't trust those guys.
Desmond Ritter's going to come lighting them up out
By
there.
that time,
Pitts is
possibly.
about to be one of
By
the
that time, if they got
dudes.
Ritter at the helm and not Mariota, then possibly they can get another
Okay.
win there.
We'll see.
But
I mean,
losing against the Jets,
that's a toss-up, though.
losing against Green Bay, they pretty much lose the rest of the
You
way
got 'em
out.
losing to the
Losing
Jets.
to Philly, man, the Jets going to be scary.
I got
nights.
to lose
Remember
to the
that.
Jets, too, though.
Okay.
No, I got to beat the Jets. I'm not. Yeah, I got to beat the Jets and losing to Atlanta. I got Atlanta beating them.
Okay.
I got them losing to Philly, losing to Buffalo.
Division games. What do you got them going?
Hang on.
Over?
No, they win one
Detroit?
against Detroit.
Okay.
Yeah, the rest of them they lose.
All right, cool. That's 1-6. 1
Yeah.
and 5.
And I got it flipped. I got them winning at Detroit and losing at home.
At home.
All right, yeah, I got them splitting with Detroit too. But I got them a 5-win team, man. They had the 27th in offense last year. They was 22nd in opponents' points per game. They was 25th in passing yards. You know, my man Justin Fields had 10 touchdowns and like 17 picks. I think one of the worst rookies outside of what Trevor. If it wasn't for what Trevor did down there, he had one of the worst rookie seasons. Hopefully they could bounce back. But from what I just seen in week 1, that first possession, like I was telling you, the Bears is going to have to work for everything. And Tajay Sharp and Moody was making some spectacular catches. And this is just the first drive of the preseason. And if it's going to be like that all season, I don't even know how. Like I said, I don't even know how they muster up 5 wins. Like I said, I got them barely winning 5 wins.
Man, they drafted Velius Jones Jr. out of Tennessee. They got Byron Pringle coming over from Kansas City.
Yeah.
They still got David
like the
Montgomery in
fifth
that
string.
backfield. We still trying to figure out what's going to happen with Raekwon Smith on that defense.
Yep.
And they got Robert Quinn on that defensive end that could wreak havoc a little bit. But other than that, it's kind of problems. They lost Khalil Mack, as he's trying to say.
And Allen Robinson.
So, I mean, it's kind of a flush type year in Chicago, and maybe start getting ready for the next year. Chicago fans, buckle your seatbelts because it's going to get a bumpy ride this
This was
season.
Jared's tears. They'd be laying it down.
Early.
They would be laying it down.
And I love you, Justin. Don't get me wrong.
Yep.
OH.
You can still root for him, but it's just man, it's gonna be tough sledding, kid. I'm right there, dude. Like maybe 5 wins, even as you go through this schedule. You guys know I'm not sold on Dallas, the Commanders, the Jets. They might get one there. And division games always tough, like you say. Go into Detroit and win one, lose one to Detroit at home. They always play the Vikings tough. The Vikings are going to be the better team in those matchups. That's not a
Matt
question.
going, I'm not afraid no more.
But, in the NFL, man, that's anybody can show up on any given day. So,
Sunday.
5-12, 5-12, 8-9, flush them out. Let's move it on. As Jared likes to call them knee biters, Matt Campbell and his 80 ounces of espresso Americano coming from Starbucks every day.
You see what I put?
All right.
Coach Kneebiter improves.
Yeah, I got them improving as well. I got the Detroit Lions finishing 3rd in the division at 8-9, actually. I think last year, like I mentioned, Detroit was 3-13. tough sledding, rough going. I think they were just getting their legs under them. I'm not sold on Matt Campbell yet, but we'll see if the dude can make some improvements.
Great hype beast.
Jared Goff can, he can play. He can throw the ball. We'll see how good he gets with Amon-Ra St. Brown improving. DeAndre Swift is a beast out of that backfield. Like I said, they drafted high on the defensive end. The other one they drafted in the second first round, Jameis Williams. You just nailed it right there. And he is, Jameis Williams, I think, cracked the top 15 for Offensive Rookie of the Year. Betting futures, his name's up there. But Aiden Hutchinson is the favorite for Defensive Rookie of the Year. At I can't remember what his odds are. If we got it, I'll throw it up.
Look out for Lewis Seen.
Yeah, and that's there you go. Another was either first round pick, second round pick.
First round pick out of Georgia, Minnesota.
Yep. So there you go. They went heavy on the defensive end, which is what they need to do. So I got them at 8 and 9. I think they're going to make a vast improvement. They've got a pretty weak schedule. There we go. Defensive Rookie of the Year. So yeah, you got Aiden Hutchinson up there at plus 420. That's what I thought it was. Kayvon Thibodeau just hurt his MCL, I believe. Got a little nicked up on some
didn't even crack the
chop block.
Yeah, we apologize for that.
Yep. Yeah, and that's just one of just a play. Oh, I cut that right at the bottom because you've got Dax Hill down there bottom right.
North, but now you're rolling with a winner.
Yeah. Two former team up north, but Cincinnati Bengal Dax Hill down there at the bottom at 31-1 odds. And Quay Walker, I can't remember what roster. He's on Green Bay. That's also why that's in there. Quay Walker out of Georgia, drafted by the Packers, so we will get to him in the NFC North preview. But you've got a few candidates from the NFC North within that Defensive Rookie of the Year conversation. So definitely something to keep your eyes on, especially as you'll see those divisional opponents matching up and banging around. And going against each other. So we'll see if Aiden Hutchinson can put the hurt on Aaron Rodgers or if Quay Walker can bring it to Kirk Cousins and those kinds of things. So let's get into the Detroit Lions and where Aiden Hutchinson can make an impact, maybe chasing around Jalen Hurts, putting the smack on weak-armed Carson Wentz.
Aiden's already
like that.
He's already winning over the locker room. I seen from a clip from training camp of his Thriller. He put on the show and he was doing Thriller. He was going crazy.
All right.
But it ain't gonna be enough. It ain't gonna be enough. But it ain't gonna be a 3-win team like last year. 7 and 10 for me.
Okay.
Don't got them split. I got them splitting with
Wait, hang on. You got them 7 and 10. Will, what do you got?
I got them at 7 and 10 too.
You got them at 7 and 10 too?
Yeah.
Even though I see.
Yeah, it says 8 and 9, but I counted my one wrong. My numbers are my dots got a little bit too close to each other.
Within
but
one.
It's 7 and 10 for sure.
All right, AD, hit us with that schedule, and on the right side there, week 1, and it goes that first column on the left, week 1 down, and then it jumps to the column on the right and goes down. So week 1, September 11th, the Philadelphia Eagles and the Detroit Lions are an underdog. They're getting 3.5 points, which, I don't know. I think Philly will probably come in and beat them by 4 or more is where I would put my money at if I was a betting man, and you guys know I'm a betting man. So
I got Philly winning that game too.
Yep.
What do you have them at the bye week? You got 5 games. They'd be 5 games in.
1 and 5 for me.
1 and 5. Ooh. All right. What you got?
All right, be 1 and 4.
1 and 4. Yeah, they'll beat the Seahawks. The question mark is the Commanders. I got them 2 and 3.
I got them 3 and 2.
I got them going loss, win, loss, win, loss.
Yep.
You got
Who's your wins?
Who do you got them beating?
I got them beating Washington, Seattle, and New England.
Okay.
The upsets is the New England.
Detroit going into New England week 5.
It's a lot going on in New England. They don't know who calling the plays between Matt Patricia and what's my man's name, Joe Judge and Bill Belichick. It's a lot going on, and I don't believe in Mac Jones. I don't believe in Mac Jones. It's a lot, yeah. And ever since Tom Brady left, I think it's just it's a dark light over there.
You don't think Mac Jones is a better NFL player than Kirk Cousins?
Heavens no.
Kirk Cousins?
That's absurd to me.
I forgot to cut that one out of here.
That was last week, so we didn't even get into that.
Yeah.
But that was absurd. I'm just waiting for this top 20 to come out so I can see where Justin Jefferson landed, so all of these Jamar Chase people could quit telling me who better when the players vote for this. Like, this ain't got nothing against you. You know, we ain't never had no Justin Jefferson, Jamar Chase.
We'll get to JJ in just a
but
sec.
I'm just saying. But now, since you brought it up, that pissed me off. Like, what?
Right.
And he's not even that he's better than Kirk Cousins. He's not even 85th out of 100.
Yeah.
Like, stop it, bro.
But all right, so you got Detroit beating New England week 5. That's a good one. We'll start. I kind of like.
I think they'll be looking good.
I kind of like where your head's at. I mean, New England's gonna have another good team as always. It's always tough going into Detroit. A young coach and Matt Campbell. All right, I like it. Keep going. After the bye week, week 7, Dallas.
They lose 3 straight.
You got them losing.
Don't get another win until New York.
You got the Lions losing to Dallas. You got the Lions losing to Miami in week 8. You got them losing to the Packers in week 9 and in week 10.
And losing, actually, they lose 4 straight.
You got them losing to the Bears week 10
Yep,
too.
and then they get another game. They get their next game against the Giants, lose to Buffalo, beat Jacksonville, lose Minnesota, beat the Jets, lose to Carolina, and beat Chicago. And that'll be their 7th win. And lose to Green Bay.
Yep.
Mess around with Green Bay. They might, at that point, Green Bay's season to be lost, so they might sit everybody. So they might beat Green Bay.
There you go.
I thought about that too.
That's how, dude. That's how it
That's
works.
why mine ended up being 8 and 9 instead of 7 and 10 because I
Gotcha.
thought about it in my mind, but my heart wouldn't let me put that down as a loss.
I mean, they might be fighting for a wild card seed by then. The NFC North would be wrapped up by week 15 this year. I guarantee it.
Okay. I got a little bit there, but no, I got them losing at New England. I think coming out of the bye week, they'll beat Dallas. But like I said, I got them at 8 and 9. You know, 1 or 2 games here or there, but a much improved
For sure.
from last season. You know, going off 3 and 13, I think they're definitely going to hit
They went
7-8 wins.
Like you said, they went heavy on defense. They had to. They was 31st in opponents' points per game last year, and they was only 25th in points per game last year.
Last year, yeah, Detroit averaged 19 points scored and gave up almost 28. And this year, the Lions' win total over/under is 6.5.
There it is.
So I'm gonna throw.
I think it's about
I got them over. So I said 7
I'm gonna
and
throw
10.
my bones on that. They get to 7 for sure.
The coach get to bite another year.
I'm going to speak from a little bit of experience. This team right here, we haven't always been in the Super Bowl. Now I know everybody look at this team as, you know, one that's going to continue to run an AFC North. We know that. But for the Detroit Lions, when you're at the bottom, you're going to get a lot of nice draft picks. And we can see what Aiden Hutchinson's coming in. We see Jameis Williams coming in. We see they got Okuda a couple years ago.
Megatron, Barry Sanders, Matthew Stafford. I mean, they had players.
But we talking about now. We talking about a new regime. And I just think in the next couple of years,
Always got a new regime.
that backfield that they got with DeAndre Smith, but the leader of that team in motivation besides the coach, the leader of that team got to be Jamal Williams. The hype that he brings to the team, the energy that he brings to that team.
Nice.
I think they're going to continue to run behind him. Literally, he's going to run that team into a stronger mental type of team. I don't know how much longer Jared Goff's going to be there, but I know in the next couple of years, I'll say about 3 to 4 years, you're going to see Detroit Lions be a force to be reckoned with.
You said 304 years? Because that's what I heard.
3 to 4 years, man. You're going to see a different team in Detroit. So
And you might-
they're a joke of the NFC East right now, or NFC North right now,
that's how
but they're going
funny
to
it
come
is.
up.
Dude, you are kind of right about that. I mean, definitely the
I'm
laughing
with you, though.
stock, but some attitude adjustments. You never know what can shake down, and that DeAndre Swift is no joke, man. The dude is a stud. Amon-Ra St. Brown really stepped up last year. He's
Caught the
made some
game-winning touchdown
progress.
against my Vikings.
Jameis
I still get
Williams,
trolled
we'll see
about
what
that
he
game.
can bring. You know, as long as Goff just kind of keeps it under control and those
We
things.
gonna,
I'm with
we
you.
gonna see, man. We gonna
Much
see.
improved.
We already know what they're gonna do. When they get down, they're gonna get back up and start biting again.
That's
it's,
right.
It's literally a direct quote from their coach. So, hey, man, Coach Neebider, he's one of the best motivators out there. So.
He's just the best clips. He's the best post-game clips, sound bites, all those things.
Because he's
Love it. Keep it
hilarious.
coming.
He cried at the booth.
Excuse me, I called him Matt Campbell. It's Dan Campbell.
Dan Campbell. Dan's the man. He cried on the booth. That's funny.
The last thing I will add, Chicago Bears win total for the season. The over-under is at 6.5. I forgot to throw that in. So I
I'll
think we
take
are
the under.
all taking the Bears under 6.5 total wins.
He's not.
That's
got
right.
him at
You got him
8.
at 8. All right, next.
I got
Moving
him at
on.
7. To be honest, and to be actual and factual, I got him at 7, not 8.
All right.
Big difference.
So are we
Next
going,
But still
we're going to the Packers next?
Yep,
Or
let's
okay,
roll.
Packers.
Green Bay Packers. Adam Delph, you
perfectly-
got some things to chime in. You certainly can. There's the schedule right there.
I might puke.
Week
live on
1
air.
at Minnesota Vikings. That's a big game. It's a divisional matchup already.
right off the bat.
Green Bay
One
is
of the
a
biggest rivalries
Green
in
Bay's
the
a
game,
2.5 point favorite going into Minnesota.
They favorites?
Green Bay's favored. Yep.
I like it. I like it. Let us be underdogs. Let us be underdogs. Take the.
All right, we're going to dissect the schedule real quick. Divisional matchups to open it at Minnesota. They got Chicago, which should be a breeze. Then it gets tough.
I own you.
At Tampa, New England, back-to-back. Those are tough. Week 5, 6, 7, it gets nice and easy for Green Bay. I'm sure Adam likes to see this. They got the Giants, the Jets, and the Commanders. I got those as 3 straight dubs for Green Bay. They get rolling. They go on a hot streak into Buffalo. Arguably their toughest challenge of their season so far will be Week 8. Depends on what Tampa can bring to the plate with a bunch of injuries on the
Don't
offensive
sleep on
line.
week 1.
But Week 8 at Buffalo Bills should be a premier matchup. Aaron Rodgers, Kirk Cousins, Aaron Rodgers and Josh Allen, excuse me. MVP favorite, Josh Allen,
Yes,
mind
sir.
you.
I am with that.
What do y'all think about that?
I
Who
love
gets that? Green Bay going into Buffalo. Buffalo beat them by 20.
I got Buffalo rolling them.
Yep.
I got Buffalo. Well, I don't necessarily got them. I don't have a score, but I got Buffalo beating them.
Will.
I got Buffalo beating them
I
too.
think very, very highly of Buffalo, though.
Yeah, you and the rest of the country.
Yeah, I wish that the
Mafia's
country
gonna be
was.
for
I
real.
wish the country wasn't on this bandwagon because I've been beating the Bills drum since
All right.
at least last playoff.
Since Leon Lett and Don Beebe, huh?
Nah.
There you go. All right, Week 9 at Detroit. Green Bay takes that one. I got a dub. Green Bay at home against the Cowboys, Sunday, November 13th. I got Green Bay winning that one. Tennessee Titans, Week 11. We might see Malik Willis and the Green Bay Packers at that point.
Definitely will.
I got Tennessee winning that game.
By that time, the Titans
Back to
season
back.
gonna be lost.
Back-to-back primetime games noted there. Coming to Tennessee and then going to Philly.
Green Bay, yeah. All right, at Philly.
And they got a lot of prime time this year. But I mean, it's the Packers, of course they do. So
Yep.
I'll be throwing up a lot.
That's the way it works. All right, keep going. At Philly, Week 12. Who you got?
I got
the cheeseheads.
Nope, I got Philly taking that one.
Yep. I'm rolling Philly too. They might have their stuff together. Chicago, give it to Green Bay. Bye week is crucial, man. Green Bay having a bye week.
It'd be a much
in
needed
week
buy.
14
They got the
is
late.
very, very beneficial or favorable to them. Teams with late. The last time a team went to the Super Bowl and had their bye week before Week 6 was like 1990 or something. So late bye weeks favor the teams playing.
She got to finish in the season after the bye week.
All right, I got them losing to the Rams.
That's it for me. After they lose to the Rams after the bye week, they roll all the
Winning
way
out.
out. I had them coming in at 11-6 total. Losing
That's
to
where I
Week
got
1, losing to Tampa Bay. I got them losing to Washington, losing to Buffalo, losing to Philly in that primetime game, and then losing to the Rams. But overall, I mean, of course, we all know they lost Devontae Adams. They're going to have Sammy Watkins trying to step up, Randall Cobb's trying to resurge, Alan Lazard.
Randall
But I think they're going to run behind Aaron Jones and A.J. Dillon for sure.
Yeah, they're definitely
So-
going to. They're going to give. He's going to have like a Jimmy Garoppolo type game plan. Like the way that they're going to scheme it up, I feel like is just. And it's Aaron Rodgers, so he's not going to make those late game interceptions or anything like that. You always expect him to make the right play or whatever. But I feel like it's going to be a lot of ground game, Not necessarily dink and dunk, because he's going to be able to move the ball down the field a little bit because they still got one of the best lines in the league. But they're going to lean heavy on that defense. We got a question?
Yes. Did you really just say Washington was going to beat Green Bay? Really?
He did.
That'd be me.
With,
I didn't hear that.
With Carson Wentz,
That'd be me.
Scary Terry.
Scary Terry.
That's about it.
By that time, my man Chase Young should be back.
Yeah,
Put a
we got
little bit
David
of pressure on
Bakhtiari
him.
back, so
Any give
the Commanders really like. I understand the Bills. I understand like a lot of them, but the Commanders just no. I just lost so much respect for you.
I'm weak.
hot take.
Like, that's not a hot take. That's like a cold take that makes no sense and has been frozen in dry ice.
Amen.
Mark it. Book it. Get ready for it.
No way. Like,
I got Washington losing that game.
Yep.
But I got them at. So you got them at 11-6. You got them at.
I got them at 11-6.
I got them at 10-7.
Yep.
11-6, 10-7. It's a toss up between. I want to assume in the extra game that y'all got them splitting with the Vikings versus me having the Vikings sweeping them, and that's where our extra game will come in at. But that's.
Vikings gonna sweep the pack. You guys got to put some money down on that.
Oh yeah, no, we definitely will. Well, when we get, maybe we'll see how that goes when we get to that part of the.
I got a question for the man behind the boards. So, usually, Aaron has one of his favorite receivers. Can he do what Tom Brady does and make no-name receivers, make them actual factual household names, and make them relevant to get good wins?
do you know who Greg Jennings is? Do you know who Jordy Nelson is?
Yes, sir.
Do you know who Randall Cobb is?
For sure.
Did they do anything when they left Green Bay?
Touche.
He'll make.
Didn't Jordy retire?
Didn't Greg Jennings have Brett Favre too, though? Wasn't he performing with Brett? What?
No, I
What?
don't think Jordy was there with Brett.
Greg was. Aaron Rodgers didn't make Greg Jennings or Donald Driver
Jennings was his best receiver.
or James Jones. Those was all ballers. Then they bought.
What happened when they left?
James Jones led the league in touchdowns with the Raiders. Greg Jennings had Christian Ponder in Minnesota, and Jordy retired.
Jordy went to Oakland.
He was unhappy. He never wanted to leave Green Bay.
He wasn't unhappy.
Then he ended up going to.
They didn't want to pay him, yeah. Right.
But
They try and stay young, but just remember these things.
But they made them-
Dubs is a stud. He's going to. You're talking about the.
is that the dude that Aaron Rodgers just chewed up in the pro conference after he dropped that touchdown pass against the Saints? Or who did they?
He's been chewing up all of them, but
They just had a team meeting with the receivers.
he was still coming down from mushrooms or
Man,
something.
first of all, he
was
too busy
cussing
getting high
people
off the
out.
all the wrong off the wrong shit anyway.
But you mentioned Romeo Dubs. He's like a top 10 favorite for Rookie of the Year, and he went in the 4th round. They took Christian Watson ahead of him even, and all the hype's been
man.
about. Yeah, see, there you go, boom. Christian Watson's up there too, and maybe
Chris Olave's in
I
there.
thought Romeo Dubs was on there.
He is. He's plus 1,400. Second column, fifth one down.
Oh, sweet, yeah. See,
I'm
he's got two
I'm
receivers
definitely
up
rolling
there.
with the man that's favored it. You already know. He'll be starting week 1.
He's got to start first.
I think he won the starting job. We ain't discussed last week's preseason, but
Nope.
I think he won the starting job on that final drive in the second half when he executed down the.
I like
2-minute
it.
drill.
I like your question though.
I
Can
want to do one quick, a little bit more answer on that.
Yeah,
So,
that's
Romeo Dubs is going to be a stud. Alan Lazard is going to be a legit number 1 receiver. you laugh about it, but just remember.
He had 60 targets last year and 40 catches.
Because he threw to Devontae Adams the majority of the time.
100.
28.5% of the offense was Devontae Adams. You're right.
Yeah.
Well, so now there's.
And he got
28
43.5% of the target shares.
So now there's 43% available.
The Packers don't need to throw that much.
I know.
You have 2 running backs.
A Jimmy G game plan.
Top 10 running backs in the league.
As a duo,
No, I would say A.J. Dillon is a top 10 running back in the league.
No.
not even close.
You guys
And I'm not even giving your man. I'm not even giving the starter. What's my man Jones? I'm not even giving him that top 10. Where is he? 10? Is he? Where? Is he close? He's definitely closer to 10 than he is to being anywhere close to 5.
I would highly disagree with you on that.
Man, who we got? We got
You guys can talk.
All right.
Some stats for you.
You're good. So you think all right? So you think
Taylor,
it's
Henry.
and all right.
Cook,
Hey,
Chubb.
hang on, because quit saying a Jimmy G game plan. All right, because that game plan gets you to NFC championships and Super Bowls.
I kind of give you
all right.
that. That's
so what they're
hoping.
gonna do, what any good team does, that's where football's won, is in the trenches. You run the ball. You got to start running the ball because that's where it all comes from. I know the NFL's all pass happy, but look what happens if you can't protect that line. The Chiefs get blown out in the Super Bowl, and what did the Tampa Bay Bucks do in that Super Bowl largely? Ran it with Leonard Fournette. So, don't knock the run game. I do not agree that the Packers have 2 top 10 running backs. That's ludicrous. A.J. Dillon is a solid running back. But, you know, this all benefits Rodgers. He doesn't have to necessarily go out and carry it around on his back. He's going to rely on those dudes. And Green Bay also had like the 17th-ranked defense last year. They drafted for that defense. They added a couple positions there. They strengthened their secondary, which was one of their issues.
Yeah, they had the 18th.
There you go. They got 2 Georgia defensive players in the first round, Devontae Wyatt and Quay Walker. Those were picks 22 and 28, I believe. So you got 2 NFL-ready defensive guys that are coming and make an impact on that defensive end, and that's really what they need to continue to carry them. I mean, granted, they only held the Niners to 13 points in the divisional round. They just didn't put up more than 13. So,
all right, Adam, you throwing it to one person the whole game.
Right, so he's going to have to spread it around, which I think he'll be forced to do this year.
He's not going to have a choice.
And that's, you know, he's Aaron Rodgers. He's going to get it done. Go ahead. What stats you got?
I found something that honestly surprised me. A.J. Dillon had more rushing yards than Aaron Jones last year.
How many games did they play?
Jones had, I'm not sure about games, but he had 803 yards on 187 attempts. Jones had 799 yards on 171 attempts. Jones had 4 touchdowns. Dillon had 5. Both had over 300 yards receiving.
Nice.
So you combine those 2 together, they're about 2,500 yards. And 4, 10, about 25 touchdowns.
That's how you win 13 games 3 years in a row.
A.J. Dillon, they're just perfectly balanced.
They're trying to figure out how do they win the big one. That's what they're competing. They're not competing for 13.
Ask that man. Ask him.
I'm not asking him. He doesn't know.
I got a
He's
question
going
for
to
AD again. So you got Sammy Watkins, who's going to potentially be your number 1 receiver. Yes, no, maybe so. And I don't think you had Jair Alexander for many games last year.
He was out a lot.
Yeah, he was out. Do you expect him to come back and make a big impact on the defense?
Oh, absolutely. Jair Alexander is one of the best shutdown corners in the league. You also throw in Eric Stokes. They drafted him last year. And then you got the 2 players out of Georgia they got this year. Rashad Gary is one of the best linebackers in the NFL. That defense is stacked, like completely stacked. And then you mentioned Sammy Watkins. One of the best things about him, he was the number 1 rated run blocking receiver for the past 3 years. And that's what people are thinking about. They also have Big Bobby Tunyon, who's a great run blocking type.
Bobby Tunyon. I like that.
They're not going to run. They're not going to win the game in the air. That's not how they're built right now. They're going to win the game on the ground game. And when you have to sneak up, Rodgers is going to pick you apart like a surgeon.
That's what you're hoping for.
I mean, that's
I've seen it 3 years in a row.
right.
Can they make it
No,
past San Francisco?
did he pick off San Francisco? Did he pick off Tampa Bay? Did he pick off who's the other team that he lost to in the playoffs?
You can chalk those up to
What?
poor play calling.
Or the fact that he threw it to forced it to Devontae Adams when Lazard's wide open.
Well, see, he won't have to force it to Devontae this year. He can spread it around to whoever he wants.
This time he's just gonna throw it away to not get an interception.
Will a Packers wide receiver have over 1,000 yards receiving?
No.
Yes.
Will?
How about manager? Heavens no.
Heavens no.
Before I could even get the question out, no.
Ooh.
You?
I mean, combined, maybe.
No,
but I can't.
not combined. One receiver.
No.
Watkins, Lazard, Dobbs, somebody.
I mean,
You don't think he'll have a 1,000-yard receiver?
I can't find one on this.
I'm seeing a
Didn't
lot
find one
of
on there on the
700,
team.
a lot of
Yeah.
700s,
He needs to spread the
800s,
ball around.
I'll take
600s.
4 750-yard receivers over 1,000 receiver any day.
Right, I mean, it's called, you said, balance.
The Packers will be the most balanced and efficient team in the NFL, and I'll put money on that right
And
now.
y'all will suck.
That's debatable. We can
have to figure out exactly
we can
what
talk
we're
that
judging
one.
on.
Here, you two, who has more passing yards this year?
Kirk Cousins.
Kirk
or
Cousins.
Aaron Rodgers?
Not even
Cousins.
close.
Cousins will have more. They're more of a passing team. The
How
Packers are going to
how
run
about
the ball.
passing touchdowns? Last year
we
they
got
both
Dalvin
threw
Cook
for
in that
35.
backfield, who's actually a top 5 back.
Dalvin Cook is a damn good running back.
Who's actually a top 5 back.
But
Who ran for over
the coach, I'm not really sure how their style is going to be.
Right, that's one thing I heard.
Yeah, and so that we don't really know for sure. But the Packers are going to run the ball
McVay-
down your throat when you have to sneak up to stop two of the top 15 running backs in the league. You have to stop them. Debatable, whatever. But you got to stop A.J. Dillon, who's Quadzilla. His quads are like the size of a damn tree.
Yeah.
And after you're getting your ass kicked by him, now you got to go catch Aaron Jones. Good luck with that. And then when you bring up 8 people to help with that, he's going to pick you apart with one of the 5 receivers he's going to have. Are they mediocre? Maybe. But, that's debatable. All right, I'm going back to you guys. I got to do shit.
All right. Comments from the peanut section. There you go, gang.
Did I say what I got them going 10-7.
Green Bay you got them 10-7. I got them at 11-6. I got them tying for the lead in the
winning the division.
No. Well, I guess because I got, as we're going to go to Minnesota, I got them coming in at 10-7.
I got them winning the division
got the
off
Packers
the tiebreaker because I got Minnesota going 11-6 as well.
We'll see. So,
we will see. It's going to be tight. I think Minnesota improves this year, as we're going to talk about right now. The Minnesota Vikings, who went 8-9 last year, I believe.
Yep. 8-9.
Minnesota was 8-9 last year. Averaged 25 points a game, which was 14th in the NFL.
Yep.
And they averaged 25.1 against their defense, which was 25th. So let's take a quick peek at the Minnesota schedule, Jared, game by game.
Vikings
lay it on me. Let's go.
This to piggyback off of that. Total points scored for the Vikings was 425. Opponent's points was 426. So the difference was literally 1 point. That's how close each and every single game was last year. Kirk Cousins actually balled out last year. The games last year wasn't really on Kirk Cousins. It really came down to special teams and defense. It's a couple games where Kirk could have made some extra plays, but I'm not gonna just throw the whole season on his shoulders. But just running down the season, what was your mantra last year?
13-4, say no more.
Thank you. 13-4, say no more. This year, that will be me. 13-4, say no more. I got the Vikings going 13-4, and that's unbiased as possible. If you're really looking at the schedule, I know you got 10-7. I don't know what the hell you're looking at. 11-6. I respect that, but you don't got us winning the division, so I can't get cool with that. This 13-4, say no more. Like I said, they literally done every single thing. Now, I've literally tried to take out the fan. I swear to God. No, I ain't supposed to say that.
All right,
but
well, let's go.
But
come
listen.
on.
I got
Green Bay, week 1.
Heck, I don't got us losing until we play Miami, and we really might beat Miami.
Which is when?
Week 6, headed into our bye week, so it's gonna be looking good. And if we don't, and it really goes how obviously the only game that I could see is possibly losing besides any other game would be the Green Bay game. But I think it's so much pushing towards this week 1 game of this new start. We either gonna get smacked in the face and realize just because it's new don't mean it was gonna be easy, or we really gonna roll them week 1. But we'll see how that goes. But I really don't think we're gonna lose until Miami. Coming out of that, beating Arizona, beating Washington, losing to Buffalo. I think very highly of Buffalo. Beating Dallas, beating New England, beating the Jets, beating Detroit, losing to Indy, beating the Giants, and this Green Bay game right here, I have us losing, but by that time, Green Bay might be done with their season. We don't know. They might still be competing for a wild card spot, maybe.
I hope so.
I mean, they most likely will because of the 4 or 3 through or 5, 6, 7 is kind of, it could be anybody. So, I mean, just looking at the season, it's really on to pencil in certain losses. 13-4, say no more.
All right, week 1, Packers. All right, week 2, at Philadelphia. That's a tough game. Week 3, Detroit Lions. That'll
Definitely
be tough
tough.
divisional opponent again. Week 4, they got to go to London against a good Saints team that's ready to win the NFC South. That's a tough game there. Week 5, Bears at home. Should be easy, breezy, beautiful. Justin Fields. Week 6, at Miami, a lot of hype around the Dolphins. We'll see what Mike McDaniels can get going. That's what Ace Ventura always used to call them, was the Dolphins. Bye, week 7. Week 8, Arizona Cardinals. We're pretty low bar on the Cardinals around here. They get the Commanders next. So coming out of the bye week, Vikings get 2 nice ones. At the Bills, tough. Cowboys could be tough. Patriots could be tough. So there's a tough 3-game sledge right there in the middle of November. The middle of November always gets tough. People start getting hurt. It's cold weather, yada, yada, yada. They get a nice break of the Jets early December. Then they go at the Lions. That flex game, either Saturday or Sunday, week 15 against the Colts, man. There's going to be some implications there. Colts are going to be fighting for their division lead. They got to go.
Yeah, so that's
it's at home. That helps them. But that'll be a tough one. And the Minnesota Vikings close it out week 16, 17, and 18. They go New York Giants at home, and then they go on the road at Green Bay and at Chicago.
Yep.
Always tough to go on the road in your division, but like you said, hopefully they'll have some things wrapped up and taking care of that business.
In
So
the season in the cold.
But you know, a
that's
nice
cool.
one will be going into Chicago the end of the year. So
Yeah.
it's, if anybody's going to have a winnable game, that'd be that. So they've got some easy. They got a couple nice 2-3 weeks in a row, but they've got a couple tough ones in a row.
Where it's just gonna come down to execution, man.
And they got. I think they got to get out started hot. I mean,
Yeah.
those first 5-6 games, there
a lot
can
of
be
winnable
some
games in there.
and see on what I'm looking at, there's some losable games in there. Green Bay at Philly, the Saints in London, and at the Dolphins, man. They could be 2-4 going into their bye week, week 7.
That's worst case scenario.
Yep. You
Oh,
bet
That's
it's
where I
worse.
got them. I got them 3-3 going into that bye week. Losing to Philly, losing to famous Jameis and the boys over in
All
London,
right, yeah.
and then losing in Miami. So I think it's going to come down to that. How he said it wasn't really on the back of Kirk Cousins, but I think it's going to be more on Danielle Hunter and Zadarius Smith in that defense.
Yep.
And them
They
did
can
so
really
much.
get stops and make it happen. So I think that offense is going to have enough firepower with Cook and Thielen
Yep.
and JJ. They should have enough firepower, but can that defense make the stop?
And they went pretty heavy in the draft on defense. Is that correct?
Drafted Lewis Seen from Georgia, Andrew Booth from Clemson. Our first two of our first 3 picks were defensive players, and they were both in the secondary because our real weak link was the secondary. We was second in team sacks last year with Danielle Hunter going down. Now he's back with the addition of Zadarius Smith. We picked up Jordan Hicks from Arizona. So I'm really like Harrison Phillips from Buffalo. Both of them
Still
were
got Peterson back there.
Yeah, and we definitely still got Pat P. Now, Pat P. We're trying to get Pat P. is trying to make them get signed in the Ndamukong Suh. I would love that because that would make us so nasty in the front, and that'll really try to show us where we're trying to go. But it really come down to the lines because the point differential last year was 1 point, and if we execute down the stretch, we have a better season last year. So we just got to really see how it goes from the head coach to the general manager to the entire coaching staff, switching to the 3-4 defense. Kirk Cousins last year, he balled out, man. 4,000 yards, over 4,000 yards, 33 touchdowns, just 7 interceptions. Outside of, you really can't ask him to do much more. Just keep doing what he did and just keep executing down the stretch. It really all comes down to the defense and how they can play. And week 1 versus your man Rodgers, we'll see Kirk Cousins is 3-4-1 against Aaron Rodgers. Well, he's actually lost 3. He's 4-3-1 against Aaron Rodgers since joining Green Bay. Since joining Minnesota. He 107 QBR. Like, he lights them up. We're not. There is no I own you versus Minnesota when it comes to that. We'll see what happens in week 1. I just really think it's going to come down to the defense, and they have to get the stops when need be for us to be taken serious. Our offense is legit. I don't know. Forget what MJD said last week. We're definitely a top 5 duo. I think we got a actual top 5 running back in Minnesota, and PFF graded us the 2nd best running back room. So not just Dalvin Cook, that's Alexander Madison. And like I was telling you in the whip, I like the rookie from North Carolina, Ty Chandler. He really can make some plays.
Mike Florio don't know anything, though, so we can let that one slide. PFF, Pro Football Focus.
No.
But Alexander Madison is a stud backup. If any of you play fantasy football, you know the drill. It goes Cook and Madison go hand in hand. I'm right with you there.
Can they get it done, man?
Questions for the head coach. Questions for the kicker.
Greg Joseph actually had a solid season last year. I know I'm big on because I'm not gonna let go of week 2 when we lost to Arizona because that was really his fault. And then I think he only missed a total of 4 kicks last year. He actually did a solid job. We just gotta see if it come down to this game, can you make it?
Yep.
That's really what it comes down to.
In one possession games, it's field goals, and especially having a brand new first year head coach. Into those tight games, that always helps a lot. It's a tough division, those things. Minnesota, man, they turned the defense around. Offense is still rocking and rolling. The question, who's going to have less interceptions, Cousins or Rodgers? Since he threw 7 and Rodgers threw what, 6 last year?
I think he threw 5.
But good to see that. Boys from the North keeping it out of the hands of the other team.
Rodgers should probably still throw less just because it's a talent, of course, but he intentionally not throw interceptions.
Right.
Like, he doesn't throw the dangerous pass at all.
He's not Brett Favre. All right, that wraps up the NFC North. Jared's got them winning.
13-4, say no more,
I
man.
got the
It's going to be a
Packers
lot of
winning,
that this year.
And you got the Packers winning it. But
they're nuts.
Like
they're nuts. He's nuts. They're nuts. He's nuts.
Hey, I got them tied. I got Vikings and Packers 11-6, both edge one way or another.
That.
But we're going to throw it. Go ahead.
It's going to come down to that. It might come down to that last.
Week 17.
Yeah.
As it should. That's
I think,
the way they designed it.
To me, I'm hoping it'll be over by then.
All right. All right, there's our NFC North preview for all you fans still listening. We appreciate you. We're going to throw it to a quick commercial break, collect ourselves. We'll come back, hit you with the WNBA playoffs. There should be a game live right now. We'll check the score, hit you with the bracket, the updates, what to watch for. Sit tightly on That's Debatable. We'll be right back in just a minute.
There were a number of baseball games back in the spring where umpires didn't show up, and they went ahead and played the game anyway. Because of that, the umpires didn't show, but they still wanted to get the kids on the field and play the game. Fortunately, that hasn't happened in a football game yet. But I guess, is that a concern of yours right now, Bo, that those numbers are dwindling? They're not out of control yet, but they are dropping. Is that a concern for you?
Well, it's certainly a concern more in some sports than others. You mentioned baseball, softball. The issue with baseball, softball is there's a high rain out, and you may be scheduled well going into the season, but once the season starts, you get rainouts. Everybody's playing every day, and that's really makes it. It's always been tough in baseball, softball. Now with fewer umpires, it's even tougher. Football's better because of the length of time between games, and you know who you have scheduled, and you know if you're looking like you may need a replacement, you have time to look and you have time to do it. In other sports that play every 2 days, that's where it's really, really difficult if you have someone that may not be there that night. But like I said, some sports are in a lot better shape than others. Basketball, football is certainly in better shape than baseball, softball, and soccer.
There were a number of baseball games back in the spring.
Okay. Yeah, I can work with this.
It might be a trap.
Don't have time for that!
Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the favorite game show of the upper class, Who's Counting? The game show where our unwilling contestants have to make the really hard choices that count.
Welcome back to That's Debatable. Last section, WNBA finale. You know what it is. Thank you all for tuning in on this lovely Wednesday night. We always appreciate you. Make sure to check us out on all our social medias. Yamo Media Columbus YouTube page, yamomedia.com. And you know where to find the boys. Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, all those good things. WNBA Ladies Playoffs, free Brittany Griner.
Definitely.
And right now, the Connecticut Sun and the Dallas Wings are getting just about to the end of the second quarter, just about halftime. The Dallas Wings are upsetting the Sun currently, 28-25. The Connecticut Sun were a 4-point favorite going into tonight's game. They're the 3 seed taking on the 6 seed, so everybody expected the Sun to advance. They've been one of the better teams coming out of the WNBA all season long. But Dallas, man, making some waves, so we'll see if we can get an upset tonight. But
hopefully so.
Las Vegas Aces took care of business, beating the Phoenix Mercury 2-0, sweeping them in the series. The Seattle Storm also swept the Washington Mystics 2-0. So the West semifinal is set, and you'll see that that'll be a best-of-5 series. The Las Vegas Aces and Seattle Storm. I think that starts Friday. I'm going to look real quick. And then his Chicago Sky suffered a Game 1 loss against the New York Liberty, man.
Hey, shout out the rule change.
Yeah, dude.
Shout out to the rule change, man. That's all I gotta say, man. It was meant to happen, man. Shout out to the rule change. Now my girls is able to Keep it still alive.
Yeah, like we said, the old format was one game.
Still alive.
Liberty and Sabrina Ionescu would have taken down the reigning champions, but best of 3 series, and the Sky put it on them. They won the next 2 games by 24 and I think 17 respectively.
That was a real wake-up call.
Yep, and sometimes
because they knew that if any other scenario, that would have been the season would have been done and over, and defending champs would have been over. I think they came out them next 2 games and said, "We ready to play."
And maybe that's what they needed is a little kick in the ass of feeling comfortable, rolling in. Yeah. Got the 2 seed, things are looking good. We've been dominating. Maybe they need a little gut check. Say, hey, sometimes that helps. First loss and get to cruising. The semifinals will be Sunday on ESPN. The Storm and Aces at 4 o'clock. And then the Sky and to be determined, TBD, for my Arrested Development fans out there, at 8 o'clock Sunday night on ESPN, presented by Google. Will, you got any hot things for me? You been watching any of it? You tuned in? What's good?
Just continue to stay tuned in to the Aces. Aja Wilson.
This is what I'm waiting for, man.
Kelsey Plum. Those girls is hot right now. Over the last beginning of this month, from the 7th to the 14th, they took down the Storm twice, winning 89-81 against the Storm the first time, and then 100 to 109. Aces took both of those, and they actually took down my man Jared Sky in that same week. So those Aces shouldn't be taken lightly. They took down a Mercury with no Tarasi, no.
It's a lot going on over there, though.
It is a lot. Free BG.
Yep.
No digs.
Yep.
So it's a lot going on in Phoenix, but it's a lot more going on with the Aces. So they're gonna continue to keep rolling. I don't see them slowing down. Maybe they may
front runner
fall one time to the Storm this round, but for the most part, I think they should probably take all 3 easy.
Seattle, Breonna Stewart, that veteran leadership. But, they'll definitely bring it. The Storm ain't
It's a series I'm waiting on. Them 2 games, I don't mean nothing to me. Just throw it away.
Yep.
Look at the film. Both games was close. They competed. That's all that matters. It's best of 5 now. And right now, Vegas and Seattle, the 2 top scorers is Bree Stewart. Dang, my phone.
Yep, you're right.
Oh, no, it didn't die.
She's averaging 22.3
Where's my stats? Yeah, Bree Stewart and who's at the top? And Gray. Who's Gray? I mean, Asia.
Probably Sue Bird is going to be over there with Seattle.
Both of them. That's what I'm saying. Vegas and Seattle. Bree Stewart and I gotta get her name. What's her first name? Chelsea Gray. Chelsea Gray. Both of them is averaging 22 points right now. So this is just 2 monsters coming in ready to go to work. And this the semifinal or conference final. Which one is it?
It'll be a semifinal.
Semifinal was definitely is going to be one for the ages, I think.
Las Vegas, 5.5-point favorite against the Storm on Sunday. Check your sports books, get it in. I'm looking at the Aces to win that by 6 easy.
And of course, my Sky just waiting for these guys to get it over with, these girls to get it over with so they could go ahead and march on to the championship.
Dallas Wings up 4, almost a half.
Let's go, Dallas.
Get home, tune into that one. It's on ESPN right now. Ladies Hoops, Sunday afternoon's going to be hot. I'm excited. I'm ready. I need to order some Aces gear. I need to get step up my wardrobe here on That's Debatable. So, final thoughts. Anything you got? Anything you want to add?
Hey, on this day of Mamba mentality, has to stay focused on everything that you got coming at you. This world is wrapped up in a lot of confusion right now, so just stay focused. Mamba mentality means when things get hard, you got to persevere and kind of overcome any adversity. So keep it locked in and keep it focused, and you can overachieve anything that you really put your mind to. So make sure you follow all our socials. Thank you for tuning in on my part, and make sure that you tune in on Yamo Media's The Bishop Hartley Radio. Going to be this Friday. Me, myself, and Deshaun Pate. Harvest Prep against Bishop Hartley. Friday, 7 o'clock.
Yep, YamoMedia.com. You can find that link. They'll share it out. We'll keep you posted on there. Next week is going to be the, I don't know what division we have left.
We got the West of the NFC
and AFC North.
AFC North, baby.
AFC North is next week. That'll be the hot one because we're doing the NFC West and the AFC East the day before Bills and Rams NFL season kickoff.
So ended with the champion,
with the 2.
Super Bowl
so next
champion
week,
conference.
tune in. Like we said, this is NFC North country. Well, this is even more AFC North country. Browns,
Literally
Bengals,
AFC North country. We're literally
that's
AFC
right.
North country.
Ravens and Steelers.
Hold
AFC North debate next week. That's it. Let's get it. Thank you for tuning in. That's
Quick
debatable.
shout out. He missed. He should get him another piece of paper. But today is the 24th, so I forgot to give my big bro a birthday shout out last week. Happy birthday to my big bro Nate. His birthday was last week. He turned 32. And this Friday, which is the 27th, or whatever day the 26th. Well, 27th is Saturday.
Yep.
So the 27th is my brother, my main man, my best friend, my brother. His birthday, Derek Rudolph. That's the man who made the song.
Yeah.
The debatable intro. Shout out to him. It'll be his. I'll just turn to it. So it'll be his 29th birthday. That's the man. Without him and his family, I wouldn't even be standing here today to give you That's Debatable. So shout out to my brothers, and shout out to y'all again. So we stand with the teachers. We stand with the city. Just hopefully they wake up and get them boys and girls back in school so them kids can get back on the field. That's debatable.
All right, we out.